Hear ye. All persons having anything to do before the Honorable, the Justice E. Susan Gosh of the Superior Court, now sitting at Fall River within and for the Commonwealth. Draw near, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Court is now in session. Be seated, please.
Tuesday, March 31st, 2015. Return to Commonwealth versus Aaron Hernandez, indictment 2013-983.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Have any of you seen or read or heard or overheard anything at all about this case or Mr. Hernandez since I last inquired? There are no affirmative responses. And have any of you discussed this case or Mr. Hernandez with anyone at all, each other, a brother or sister, anyone else, since I last inquired? There are no affirmative responses. Have any of you had any difficulty following my instructions not to talk about or in any way communicate about, look at, listen to, or do any research about this case, your jury service, or Mr. Hernandez? There are no affirmative responses. The witness may resume the stand.
Just remind you, you're still on road? Yes, thank you.
Your Honor, if we could resume with Exhibit 422, please. Now, Agent Perry, yesterday, just as we broke, we were discussing this 1240 AM cellular connection from the 4304 number. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that was a call into 4304?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a call out from 4304 to the 2593 number. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you locate and plot the next cellular telephone connection of 4304 from the records?
Yes, I did.
And could you tell us with whom was the communication, what time it was, and where the 4304 cellular telephone was connected, or the location of the tower, please?
The next call I plotted occurred at 12:43 and 10 seconds in the AM on June 18, 2013. This actually utilized a Sprint cell tower in the vicinity of, I guess, kind of east of Old Lyme, Connecticut, along Interstate 95. This was a call that was an inbound call to the Sprint phone from AT&T phone number 2593.
And the next call on the 4304 number?
This is approximately 2 minutes later at 12:45 and 28 seconds in the AM. This occurred on a Sprint tower just a little further east than the previous one, along just south of Interstate 95. This was a inbound call placed to the Sprint phone from AT&T phone of 2593.
Now, if I may, Your Honor, Agent Perry, are you familiar with a Webster Bank location?
I am.
In Rhode Island?
I am.
And in fact, have you traveled to that Webster Bank location?
Yes, I've been in the vicinity of that bank.
And if I can show you now, exhibit number 420. from the third line on this record, showing a transaction on morning of June 18th at 00:49 minutes and 6 seconds Eastern Standard Time. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Transaction for $502.95. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Located at 2300 New London Turnpike, East Greenwich,
Yes.
Webster Bank. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe that's also considered in the Coventry, West Warwick area that we've been
Now,
talked about.
that transaction having occurred at, we could go back to 422, please. At 12:49 a.m., after this call that you've just identified, this 12:45 call between coming in from 2593 to 4304, can you tell the jury, please, in relationship to this map, is that location of the Webster Bank identifiable on this particular map?
It's definitely not, obviously not zoomed in, but there is, it's identified as the streets. This is a zoomed out version of this map, so the streets, but I am familiar with the area in which that bank resides.
Could you tell us approximately in relationship to any of these yellow dots that are on the exhibit where that bank is located?
If you, in the right side, in the middle portion of the exhibit, you have the title or the label Coventry in black, and to the right of that is Kent, and then there's, looks like a body of water below that, and there's a yellow dot. That would be in the general vicinity of that bank.
And where Mr. Reset has just placed that red dot, is that where that transaction, general vicinity of where that transaction occurred at 12:49 a.m.?
Yes.
If we could go, did you plot the next call into that fourth, or the next call that the 4304 number used?
Yes, I did.
And could you describe for us, please, that particular call and where that call was located?
This call occurred on a Sprint cell tower in the vicinity of West Mystic in Connecticut. This tower is located along Interstate 95. This occurred at 1 a.m. and 4 seconds.
And the number that was used to call into that 4304 number, could you tell us what that is, please?
That's area code 617-930-1341.
Did you plot the next call on that 4304
Yes, I did.
number? And could you describe that call for us, please?
This is just shortly after, I believe utilizing the same cell tower as the previous call. This occurred at 1 o'clock and 44 seconds a.m. And this was a call, again, an inbound call to 4304 from phone number ending in 1341.
Did you plot the next call on the phone?
Yes, I did.
And could you describe that call for us, please?
This call occurred at 1:01 and 51 seconds in the a.m. And this utilized a cell tower just along Interstate 95, just east of the previous tower. This was an outbound call from the Sprint phone, placed to phone number of 2593.
Did you plot the next call on the 4304 number?
I did.
And could you tell us where that was, please?
This actually utilizes a different tower, that's a little further south of the previous one, off from Interstate 95. This call occurred at 1:03 and 54 seconds in the a.m. This was actually an inbound call to the Sprint phone from the phone number of 8969.
Did you plot the next call on the 4304 number?
Yes, I did.
And where was that, please?
This call is further to the east along Hopkinton, right around the state line between Rhode Island and Connecticut. This call occurred at 1:08 and 15 seconds in the a.m. This was a call, an inbound call received by the Sprint phone, and it was placed by AT&T phone 8969.
Did you plot the next call on the 4304 number?
Yes.
And where was that located, and who was the calling party there, please?
Again, this was a cell tower along Interstate 95, kind of northeast of the last tower, inside of Rhode Island. This call occurred at 1:15 and 12 seconds in AM. That was an outbound call placed from the Sprint phone to phone number 2593.
Did you plot the next call?
Yes, I did.
From the record of 4304?
Yes.
And where was that located, please?
This was the Sprint tower that I used as a reference point for the bank earlier in my testimony. This is a tower located in the West Warwick, Coventry area, again along Interstate 95. This call occurred at 1:27 and 12 seconds in the AM. And again, this was an inbound call placed to the Sprint phone from a phone number of 860-940-9822.
Now, did you, in addition, plot the cellular telephone activity of a Verizon cellular telephone ending in 0951 for the evening hours of June 17th into the early morning hours of June 18th of 2013?
Yes, it did.
And if we could you tell us what's depicted here, please?
This is actually an overview of Verizon cell towers within the Plainville, Franklin, Massachusetts area for the evening of June 17th, where we have several voice calls and the respective towers that were utilized for these calls.
Now, beginning at approximately 5:37 or so in the evening, could you tell us where the phone was, and was there activity on the phone?
Yes, there was. Beginning at 5:37 and 56 seconds in the PM on June 17, 2013, the phone number 0951 was utilizing a Verizon cell tower in the vicinity of Franklin, Mass. It's actually located by the black dot, and it's pretty much where the FR in Franklin is.
And in addition to that activity, could you just describe where the phone was for the next couple of hours communicating with Verizon towers, please?
It was utilizing two Verizon cell towers, one east of Interstate 495 and one west of Interstate 495, both indicated by or represented by the black dots. The white text boxes in the upper left-hand corner of my exhibits will provide the date and time in which those events occurred.
Now, after 9:50 p.m., did the phone stop communicating with towers in the vicinity of Franklin, Massachusetts?
Yes.
And could you describe first, please, where the phone next communicated?
I was able to locate a Verizon cell tower at 10:22 and 12 seconds in the PM, and then again at 10:22 and 12 seconds in the PM, and again at 10:22 and 21 seconds in the PM. They utilize a Verizon cell tower along Highway 1 in the vicinity of Plainville, Massachusetts.
If you could just move through the next two slides. Could you explain to us, just as you move through the record, what appears next?
In this case, the phone appears to use Verizon cell towers, and the phone appears to move in a southerly direction, utilizing cell towers along Interstate 95.
And this call here, could you tell us what's depicted in this call?
It's a call that occurred at 10:28 and 40 seconds on June 17, 2013.
And where's the tower that the phone is communicating with at that time?
It's located along Interstate 95, just south of, I believe that's the 295 Northern Junction.
Did you locate the next series of calls?
Yes. Next call occurred on the same cell tower. This one occurred at 10:28 and 49 seconds in the PM.
And the next call?
This is a call that occurred at 12:21 and 3 seconds, still utilizing the same cell tower in the vicinity of Middletown, Connecticut.
Now, there's continued movement of the phone connecting with towers, is that correct?
Yes, I think there's a couple more calls.
Next call, please.
The phone then appears to have moved to the southeast in the vicinity of Old Lyme, Connecticut. This call is, again, utilizing a cell tower in the vicinity of Highway 9. This call occurred at 12:37 and 21 seconds in the AM.
The next call?
Next call I could map was at approximately 1:25 and 8 seconds in the AM on June 18, 2013. It was utilizing a cell tower in the vicinity of Coventry and West Warwick.
Now, you traveled to that area, is that correct, as you've described it?
Yes, I have.
And in traveling to that area, did you also prepare a slide for us that shows the three cellular telephones, the 2593, the 0951, and the 4304, where they were located at or about the same time in that early morning after 1:20 in the morning.
Yes.
And if we could have the next slide, please. If you could just explain to us what appears here, please.
I identified phone calls that occurred in and around the same time frame, date and time, and identified the cell towers that they were connected to. Starting on the left-hand side, indicated by the yellow dot, which will reflect the Sprint cell tower. That's the cell tower that Sprint phone 4304 utilized for an inbound call at 1:27 and 12 seconds in the AM. To the right of the exhibits, there's a green dot and a black dot. The black dot reflects the Verizon cell tower, which was utilized by phone number 0951 at 1:25 and 8 seconds in the AM. That was actually an inbound call from phone number ending in 9822. The green dot is the AT&T cell tower for a phone call that was made, that was actually received at 1:24 in the AM. That was an inbound call from phone number 3561.
And in relationship to this particular diagram now, the location of the Webster Bank where the 12:49 a.m. withdrawal occurred, is that area depicted here in this in this map?
The general area, yes. It's again, this is an overview. It's not a satellite imagery, but it's going to be in the vicinity of New London Turnpike and Arnold Road. It's going to be on the south, or what I would refer to the southeast side of New London Turnpike, or the east side.
East side. And if we could just, is that the vicinity that you're discussing there?
Good morning, Special Agent Perry.
Good morning, Counselor.
You're stationed in New York City, is that right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And you were asked by the prosecutors in this case to perform some cell call, cell site analysis, right?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. And you received and reviewed a number of boxes of phone records, right?
I didn't receive any boxes. I received a set of 5. I was asked to analyze 5 sets of call detail records.
Okay. And how were they transmitted to you?
They were provided to me by Trooper Donovan via email.
Okay. So you got them as electronically?
I apologize. No, he was provided to him via thumb drive. Yes.
On the thumb drive.
Yeah.
Okay. But there were a lot of records that you had to analyze. Is that fair to say?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And then you told us, I think, yesterday that you drove around ad nauseum to determine the coverage areas of certain towers, right?
Yes, I believe I did that in 3 instances.
Okay. And you call that a drive around or a drive by, or what do you call that?
Not a drive test.
A drive test. Okay. And so to do that, you drive around an area and you make calls like over and over and over again, and then you later figure out what tower your cell phone bounced off of. Is that how you do that?
Sir, we have a software platform that's used in the industry.
Yeah.
I have a GPS that records my location every second. So I'm saying, where am I now? It's like the Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Step a foot. Can you hear me now? And then so that logs my location. And then the cell phone and the software will record what cell tower that my phone is in communication with at a particular location.
Okay. But you physically have to drive around to do that plotting that you showed us on a grid, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then you prepared this PowerPoint presentation of almost 100 pages based on your analysis, right?
Yes, I believe it was right around 100, yes.
Okay. And then you obviously you've met with the prosecutors before you testified.
Yes, I have.
And you've spent almost a week now here testifying or waiting around to testify. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us about how many hours all told you've devoted to this particular case?
With the drive testing, I mean...
Everything.
I mean, again, I didn't keep a log, and I didn't keep notes specific every time. I mean, we have several cases going at one time. And if I had to guess, I'd say close to 60 hours.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You may step down.
Your Honor, if I call our next witness, Robert Kraft, please.
Yes, sir. Let's go right to the podium.
Right this way, sir. Please face the front and raise your right hand.
You solemnly swear that your testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Please be seated.
May I, Your Honor? Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Could you state your full name, please?
Robert Kraft.
And could you spell your last name?
K-R-A-F-T. Excuse me, I have a bit of a head cold, so
Sir, do you work?
I think so, yes.
Where do you work?
I work at One Patriot Place.
Okay, and what do you do for work, sir?
Whatever they ask me to do.
Okay. Do you run a business?
Yes. We're in packaging and paper business and private equity, and we have 2 sports teams.
Okay. And what sports teams do you have?
The New England Revolution and the New England Patriots.
And the New England Patriots, where do they play?
In Foxborough, Massachusetts.
Okay, and what is the name of the stadium?
Gillette Stadium.
Okay. How long have you been involved with the New England Patriots?
21 years.
Okay. And during the course of that time, did you have a player by the name of Aaron Hernandez?
Yes.
And do you see Aaron Hernandez in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Could you just point him out and describe what he's wearing?
He's wearing a dark jacket, a dark tie, and looks like a light blue shirt.
Okay. And Your Honor, if the record can reflect the witness identifying the defendant. Now, sir, at some point, was he playing for your team?
Yes.
And what years was he playing?
Yeah, I'm not sure of the exact, around 2010 or 11, he would have been drafted by us.
Okay. And approximately how many years did he play for your team?
3 to 4 years.
Okay. Now, I'd like to direct your attention to June, the middle of June, approximately June 19th of 2013. Do you recall on that date going to Gillette Stadium?
What day of the week was that, sir?
Do you remember it being a Wednesday, the 19th of June?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall going to the stadium on that date?
Yes.
And at approximately what time did you arrive at the stadium?
Around 8 o'clock, 8 to 8:30.
When you arrived, was your attention drawn to anything around the stadium?
Yes.
And what was that?
There was a lot of media in the parking lots, and I believe there were some helicopters hovering.
Okay. As a result of making the observations of the media, the helicopters, did you have a conversation with anybody, any personnel at the stadium?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Sure, let me ask it this way. After making those observations, did you talk to anybody on your staff about what was going on?
Yes, I tried to
Okay.
find out.
You answered the question.
Okay, and as a result of having a conversation with somebody, did you seek out, did you know if Aaron Hernandez, the defendant, was at the stadium on that
Yes,
date?
I was told that,
But you haven't been asked what you were told, the objection sustained.
Okay, sir, not with regard to what you were told, but as a result of a conversation with somebody, did you go somewhere in the facility?
I went directly to the weight room.
Okay, and when you went to the weight room, did you see somebody there?
Yes.
And who did you see?
I saw two of our strength coaches and Aaron Hernandez.
Okay, and those strength coaches, what are their names, sir?
Harold Nash and Moses Cabrera.
Okay, and you indicated you saw Aaron Hernandez, the defendant, in that location?
Yes.
Did you, at that time, did you ask to speak with him?
Yes.
And did you go somewhere outside of the weight room to speak?
There's an office connected to the weight room that I brought him into.
Okay, and whose office was that?
Moses Cabrera.
Okay, and when you said you brought him in there, was there anybody else with you at that time?
No.
And did you have an opportunity at that time to have a conversation with the defendant?
Yes.
And just tell us about that. What did you say to the defendant?
I wanted any of our players.
Well, you've just been asked what you said, the objection is sustained, motion strikes allowed.
Sir, just with regard to, did you say something to him to start the conversation?
Yes.
And what was that, sir?
I understood there was an incident that had transpired, and I wanted to know whether he was involved, and if he was, you know, I wanted to make sure he's part of any player who comes into our system, I consider part of our extended family, and I wanted to get him help.
Okay. So as a result of, did you say this to the defendant?
Yes.
And what did he say when you had asked him whether he was involved in this matter?
He said he was not involved, that he was innocent, and that he hoped that the time of the murder incident came out, because I believe he said he was in a club.
Okay. So at the time that you had this conversation with him, had you learned about a homicide that had occurred in North Attleboro, Massachusetts?
Yes.
So when you referred to speaking to him about wanting to know whether he was involved in this incident, was it in relation to that homicide?
Yes.
And you indicated when you asked him that, he stated what?
I'm going to object to the
Objection.
question.
Objection sustained.
Okay. What did he say about where he was when you asked him that?
I don't recall.
Okay. Now, sir, at some point, did you prepare an affidavit in this matter?
Yes.
May I approach? Me. Sir, I'm just going to show you this document and ask you to read down at the bottom here, this last sentence beginning there and to the end. If you would just read that, sir, to yourself, please. Okay. Does that refresh your memory, sir, about your conversation with the defendant about where he indicated to you he was, or strike that, about at the time of the homicide?
Can you ask your question again?
Sure. What did he say about hoping for the time of the homicide to be revealed?
My recollection is that he said that he hoped that the time of the event came out because he was in a club.
Okay.
I thought he had said Providence, but I'm not 100% sure of that. But he was at a club.
Okay. And did he indicate When you say, at the time, do you recall him making some statement about where the club was located?
Objection sustained.
Okay. What else can you tell us about your memory as related to the Providence?
Nothing.
Okay. Now, did you have a further conversation with him about if he knew the victim of the homicide?
I believe I did.
Okay. And do you recall what he told you?
I think he said that he was the boyfriend of his his fiance's sister. He was her boyfriend.
Okay. And did he further describe the nature of their relationship?
No.
How long would you say that you had spoken to him on that date?
5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. Was there anything else outside of what you've told us, anything else about your conversation with him?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Was there, what else if anything, did you talk about during that time period?
Nothing.
Okay.
I just wanted him to know.
Objection sustained.
Okay. And as a result of completing your conversation, at that point, did you go somewhere?
I went to my office.
Okay. And when you left, how was it left between you, the two of you?
I'm not sure I understand.
Sure. And did you, when you went to leave, did he say anything else to you?
He hugged and kissed me and thanked me for my concern.
Okay. And after that time, did you see the defendant again?
No.
No further questions. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Kraft.
Good morning.
Aaron Hernandez signed with the Patriots as a professional football player. I think you said your memory is around 2010 or 2011. Is that right, sir?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's fine, sir. And do you recall where Aaron had played college football?
Yes.
Where was that, sir?
At Florida.
And at the University of Florida, sir?
Urban Meyer. I always get them mixed up. Yeah.
And do you recall that the University of Florida won the national championship in 2009
Yes.
under Coach Meyer
Yes.
and with Aaron Hernandez on that team?
Yes.
And do you recall that in 2009, Aaron Hernandez was a first-team All-American at Florida?
Yes.
Do you recall that in 2009, Aaron won the John Mackey Award as the best tight end in college football?
Oral.
Do you want me to answer?
You may
that?
answer.
I don't follow all those details. I knew he was very good.
And when Aaron signed with the Patriots, do you recall that he had a productive rookie season, a successful rookie season, sir?
Yes.
And that was followed by another season where your team, the Patriots, went to the Super Bowl. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And Aaron was part of that team.
Yes.
Now, when you and Aaron would see each other, you had a bit of a special greeting, didn't you?
Yes.
And what was that, sir?
Well, he would always hug and kiss me.
And after that Super Bowl season, your organization made an investment in Aaron, didn't it?
Yes.
Specifically, in August of 2012, the New England Patriots signed Aaron to a long-term contract, didn't they?
Yes.
And that contract was to run through the 2018 season, is that right?
Yes.
And the maximum...
I'm not sure. I don't know if there were options involved, so I don't remember the details.
Is your memory exhausted on that subject, sir, as far as the length of that contract?
No, I'm not questioning the length. I think that very often during contracts, we have options to continue or not continue.
Do you recall that the contract itself, however, contemplated when signed that it would run through the 2018 season?
I don't get into the details, so I just knew we signed them.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Mr. Kraft, I'm going to show you a document and just ask you to take a look at a page which has been marked N000015, in particular paragraph 5. And just on the topic of whether a contract signed by the New England Patriots and Aaron contemplated him being a member of the Patriots through the 2018 season, see if that refreshes your memory, sir.
My memory isn't to be refreshed because I don't get into this. I okay it when it's brought to me. But there are details beyond this that I can't say that I'm an expert on the terms and conditions. I know we signed him to a long-term contract.
Thank you, sir. Do you know why the organization signed him to a long-term contract, Mr. Kraft?
He's a very good player.
Now, do you remember Aaron signing this contract in August of 2012?
I don't.
Do you remember that shortly after he signed the contract, Aaron personally gave you a check for $50,000 to the Myra Kraft Giving Back Fund?
Objection sustained.
Now, directing your attention to June 19th, sir, as Mr. McCauley did, 2013, you were at Gillette Stadium, is that right, sir?
Yes.
And you saw all the media assembled there, isn't that right?
Yes.
And the media coverage at that point was nonstop and it was extensive, isn't that right?
Yes.
And that bothered you. To have media attention like that at your
Yes.
state. So you decided to go and speak to Aaron, correct?
Yes.
And you found Aaron in the weight room, isn't that right?
Yes.
And by being in the weight room in the off-season, Aaron was doing his job, wasn't he?
He was training.
And you asked to speak with him just off the weight room, is that right?
Yes.
Now, you personally had never had any problems with Aaron, had you?
No.
And so you went into the office of, I think you said, Mr. Cabrera, is that right, sir?
Yes.
And the two of you sat down and had a conversation.
Yes.
That was a private conversation, correct?
Yes.
There was no one else there.
No.
You didn't take any notes of that conversation, correct?
No.
Was it fair to say, sir, that that conversation and the situation was something you'd never dealt with before?
Yes.
And so you spoke to Aaron, and you don't remember the exact words of that conversation, do you, sir?
Vaguely.
And you asked Aaron to look you in the eye, didn't you?
Yes.
And he did, didn't he?
Yes.
And you asked him if he was involved, and he said no.
That's correct.
And you wanted him to be straight with you, didn't you?
Yes.
And you wanted to be straight with him, correct?
Yes.
And you told him you would support him, didn't you?
Yes.
And Aaron told you he had nothing to do with this. Isn't that right?
He said he was innocent.
Didn't he say he was completely innocent?
I don't recall exactly the words.
But the subject of Aaron being at a club came up, didn't it, sir?
Only in the context of what I said.
And didn't Aaron tell you he had been at a club with Odin Lloyd?
No.
You said you couldn't remember.
Let me, I honestly, I don't remember that. He might have. I don't remember.
And I think you testified on direct examination, sir, that that you believe he said a club, but you weren't sure where the location of that club.
That's correct.
If I said the name Club Rumor, does that help at all in your memory?
No.
Now, sir, as you spoke with Mr. Hernandez, Aaron, you asked him if he knew Odin Lloyd, didn't you?
Yes.
And Aaron...
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I did. I honestly don't recall. What was that, almost 3 years ago?
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Mr. Kraft, I'm just going to show you a document. I believe it's the same document Mr. McCauley showed you. And on this topic of whether you recall asking him if he knew Mr. Lloyd, I just ask you to read to yourself this line here.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Does that refresh your memory, sir, of whether you asked Mr. Hernandez if he knew Odin Lloyd?
Yes. Okay.
And Aaron explained that Odin was the boyfriend of Aaron's fiance's sister. Is that right?
Yes.
And Aaron told you that he and Odin had socialized together, didn't he?
My main focus was understanding whether he was involved or not.
No, I understand, sir.
And what I could do to help him. I didn't.
I'm going to strike that answer. If you could listen carefully to the question, just answer the question that's being asked.
All right.
So my question, Mr. Kraft, is just simply, I was asking whether you recall that Aaron told you that he and Odin Lloyd spent time together socializing or socially.
Yes.
He did tell you that.
You're showing me what I said. It's not something I focused on.
That's perfectly understandable, sir. I just wanted to refresh your memory and ask you if you recall that. So as you testify here today, do you recall Aaron telling you that he and Mr. Lloyd socialized together?
I honestly can't recall that.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. I'm just going to show you that same document. I'm just going to direct your attention to this sentence, which ends here. This is you recognize this document, sir. Just take a look at that and read it to yourself.
Yeah.
Just, all you need to know, sir, all you need to do is read that, sir, and I'll put another question to you. Thank you. Sir, having seen that document, does it refresh your recollection that on June 19th, Aaron had told you that he and Mr. Lloyd had spent time together socially?
Yeah, that's what it says, what I said, but I didn't know, that was a general statement in my mind, that they spent time socially.
Your Honor, I move to strike the answer after yes.
Everything you have to ask yes is what it's stricken.
Now, the conversation you had with Aaron, Mr. Kraft, lasted about 5 or 10 minutes, you testified?
Yes.
And at any time did anyone else join you?
No.
At the end of that conversation, you and Aaron shook hands, didn't you?
I thought he hugged and kissed me. We might have shaken hands, too.
Well, at the end of that conversation, Aaron hugged and kissed you, didn't he?
Yes.
And that was customary for you. That was the customary sort of exchange that you two had, isn't it?
Yes.
Sir, isn't it true that when Aaron was at the stadium, he was always respectful to you, wasn't he?
Yes.
And from your perspective, sir, when Aaron was at the stadium while he was with the Patriots, he always carried himself well and respectfully.
Sustained.
You had no reason, no experience, Mr. Kraft, with any problems with Aaron, did you?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Sir, did you know much about the life of Aaron Hernandez outside of when he showed up to the stadium?
No.
And Mr. Fee asked you some questions about, you had prepared an affidavit, is that right?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor.
He showed you this document, is that true,
Yes.
a couple of times? And do you recall when you had prepared that document, sir?
No.
Okay. Do you recall how long after your last meeting with Aaron Hernandez?
I honestly can't recall.
Okay. Could I approach Your Honor? Just direct you, have you look at the last part of this and read that to yourself, see if that refreshes your memory.
Okay.
Does that refresh your memory, sir?
Yes.
Okay. What was the date of the affidavit?
The 19th of August, 2013.
Okay. And at that time, was your memory better, fresher than it is today?
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection sustained, and this document's been used only by both counsel in this case to see if it would in any fashion refresh the witness's recollection. The document is not an exhibit in the case, and any statements in it are not coming in, have not come in substantively for the truth of anything in that document.
Well, Mr. Fee had asked you questions reciting certain statements that you made in your affidavit.
Objection.
Objection sustained. The document was used to refresh a witness's recollection. You may proceed.
Did he ask you the question, well, he looked at me straight in the eye and said no, that he was completely innocent?
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection sustained. Forming
Did he
that
ask you that
question.
question?
Objection, Your Honor.
You may ask whether you may rephrase your question not from the document in terms of what was questioned.
Did he ask you a question about whether he looked you in the eye and told you that he was completely innocent?
Yes.
And when you had that, when he made that statement to you, there was an additional part of that statement. Is that true? When you spoke with him back June 19, 2013?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand.
When you met with Aaron Hernandez on June 19, and he made that statement that claiming he was completely innocent, that was in the context of he said something else after that, right?
Yes.
What was that?
He said he hoped, to the best of my recollection, he said he hoped that the time of the incident became public because he was at a club at that time.
Okay. Did he tell you at that time how he knew the time of the incident, the murder?
No.
Objection sustained.
And sir, a few minutes ago, Mr. Fee had asked you some questions about time spent together socially. About Aaron Hernandez making some statement about time spent with the victim.
I'm trying to understand what you're
Sure.
asking me.
I think you made a reference to what you meant when you had answered his question about the indication of time spent together.
To the form of the question, Your Honor.
Objection sustained.
Mr. Fee had asked you, let me just back up for a second. Mr. Fee had asked you about, did he indicate that he knew Odin Lloyd?
Yes.
Okay. Did he actually, in your conversation, was the name Odin Lloyd used, or did you ask him about whether he knew the victim?
I don't recall.
Okay. May I approach, Your Honor?
Right.
So I'll just direct your attention, you read the first line beginning there.
Yes.
Okay, does that refresh your memory, sir?
Yes.
What did you ask him about whether he knew?
I asked him whether he knew the victim.
Okay.
I did not say his name.
And to the extent that he indicated to you the nature of their relationship, what, if anything, did he say?
Objection to the form of the question, Your Honor.
Overruled.
That it was a social relationship because he was the boyfriend of his fiance's sister.
And sir, just with regard to Mr. Fee had shown you a document relating to a contract, is that right?
Yes.
And are there certain conduct requirements that you have as the owner of the New England Patriots in terms of the behavior or the conduct of the players?
Objection beyond the scope, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Your Honor, may I be heard to sign off, please?